Some people go to massive lengths to try and decorate their aquarium without touching the back wall, because they believe it's easier to get in there and clean the back of the aquarium. And though this is actually true, I think that the disadvantages outweigh the advantages, because if you do not touch the back wall with the aquarium, it means that the angle that you've got to place the reef is very steep. Whereas if you used the back wall, you could literally have an angle like that for your rocks. Therefore, there's a lot more photosynthetic surface area available to the light. So therefore, you could potentially have a much better cover of corals. Whereas with this sort of technique, sure, the back's free, so you can clean it. You can clean the glass if you need to. You can get a gravel siphon in the back there if you need to. Easier to remove a fish if you did lose one. But the disadvantage is you've got such a steep reef face. Now this tank has been done quite well, and it does look very beautiful regardless, but there's still a lot of black area. Whereas if that was built up against the wall, you'd really brighten up all this area. You could add a whole lot more coral. So once again, I should really say that for maximizing the amount of coral that you've got in the aquarium against the back wall and having a less steep reef face is definitely optimal. But that's not to say that there's anything wrong with this, because this sort of ravine or cave, it does look quite nice as well. But the overall effect, I don't think, is anywhere near as good as it would be if you had the rocks built against the back. So though there are advantages in this technique, I think the advantages are outweighed by the disadvantages. And people are also paranoid about scratching their back glass, and I'm really not that worried about scratching the back glass because you don't look through it anyway. So the fact that the back glass gets potentially the odd scratch from the live rock isn't really something that worries me. Obviously scratching the front glass is a big issue, but that's not what we're talking about. There should be no excuse for scratching your front glass. Nearly all scratches in front glass are caused by magnet cleaners. If you stay away from magnet cleaners, usually glass is okay. Magnet cleaners are the death of glass. So anyway, there's many different ways you can decorate your aquarium. And if this was a double-sided aquarium, you wouldn't have a choice. You'd have to decorate the aquarium somewhat like this. But seeing this aquarium has the benefit of a wall, I think you could create a much more pleasing look by using that back wall for the structure.